sa mga platform ng social media ngayon, madalas na napapansin ang kalidad ng nilalaman. Sa Den, ang mga gumagamit ay nabayaran para sa paglikha, pagsusuri, at creation ng kalidad ng nilalaman. Ang mga tagalikha ng nilalaman ay gantimpala batay sa pakikipag-ugnay at maabot ng kanilang post o komento. Ang mga tagasuri ng nilalaman ay gantimpala batay sa bilis at resulta ng kanilang mga hula tungkol sa aling nilalaman ang uuso o mag-viral. Ang mga may-ari ng komunidad ay gagantimpalaan batay sa pakikipag-ugnayan sa loob ng kanilang komunidad. Sa Den, nagbabayad ang kalidad ng nilalaman.
What's up, everybody? It's Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. That means we have another DENDAO call. So we're going to go through some updates, see who won the LCP, talk about some leaderboard statistics and stuff. We got I am. We got I am for I am with us. Fellow denizen and founder lot holder too. So there is a post over in the DENDAO lair called DENDAO Call 2023, February 23rd. That's today. And in there, right under the beginning of the agenda, there's a link to join this call. So if you want to pull up a chair and have a chat, that's where you'd go to find us. Click on that and join. Or feel free to chime in if you're watching on YouTube, just in the chat. I'll see that. And I'll also check the replies to the post on Den too before we wrap to see if we missed anything there. So with that, LCP results are in, dude.
Nice.
We got winners. The current thing didn't win. Not yet. But let's have a look at that. Let me see. We've got the number one by unique voter, and then over ranked by total or committed, we've got number 8 and number 21 that won. So that hasn't changed in a while. That's the numbers we've been doing for a while. How are we feeling about that before we go into the actual winners?
Aliens is going to be fun. Marketplace is going to be incredible.
Oh, and I mean, before we get into the which ones won, how do you feel about those numbers? Because we've been using those for a while.
Oh, the 1, 8, and 21?
Yeah, sometimes we change them. Sometimes we roll with it for a while. We've
good.
only had, my only thought on that is, yeah, I'm fine with it too. We've only had one instance in the past bunch of months where someone actually paid the fee to create one of the runners up. Mm-hmm. And the reason I think that's important to note is that is a metric that we talked about using to decide when to increase or decrease the number of layers that win each month, right? So I'm starting to wonder if we shouldn't cut back to 1 and 1 again instead of getting 3, getting 2 each month.
Wow.
How do you feel like demand is on that?
I want to find out what the price is in MTR to in a matter to pay for the current thing, because I think I might splurge a little bit and buy that.
Okay,
or pay for it, I should say.
All right. Well, that if anybody wants to do that, the time to do that is this weekend. And starting with the first runner-up, you could pay 200 matter, and then it increments by 200 through the 5th runner-up, up to 1,000 matter. Of course, you can always create one that has more than 8 unique voters. That's a 2,500 flat, 2,500 matter fee, but that's anything with at least 8 voters. So that leaves a bunch of them open to possibility.
Right. Sure. Can you explain where that matter goes?
Yeah, that matter goes into the if you notice like how Den does the like boosted Fridays and stuff like that, some of it goes into stuff like that, boosting posts, and but it goes to the Den account.
Good.
So you would send a email to I guess support at Den.Social. And unless I'm mistaken, you can either send it if it's outside of Den, you can send it to the multisig, which you can just work it out in the support email. We'll see it there. But yeah, it just goes into the Den account, and that's used for whatever needs to be, typically just utility of it. So the winners.
Where's it at? Oh, okay. Where?
Oh, what's up?
I was going to say, so the current thing.
Oh, the current thing. I thought we were still talking about that fun. Sorry.
Well,
let me rattle off the winners real quick because we got.
I'm jumping into being selfish into what I want to know.
I want to know that too, so that's fine. So we've got we've got Marketplace, that one number
Yes.
one by unique voters.
Yes.
I've already got some stuff that I want to put on there to sell. I've already been talking to Alxons about selling some of the lot that I have. So that's interesting. We'll talk about the how to use the metrics that I published to sort of get an idea of the value of the lot tokens if you do want to swap, stuff like that.
Okay.
So that should be interesting. I think the first easiest use case will just be like people that have didn't get lot from something and they want to swap somebody matter for it, or it's kind of like a peer-to-peer, be adults, work it out, be responsible, and then eventually it'd be great to have that matter lot swap contract. But I want to sell some gear too, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, that one.
Artificial intelligence, I got to say, is going to be, I mean, everyone is talking about chat GPS.
Yeah. We had talked about it today. A good chunk of WBRT, I felt like was that. So.
That's kind of a hot topic. It's almost the current thing.
Yeah. That you're right. Yeah. The current thing in artificial intelligence, if they both existed, they could just mirror each other.
But yeah, it's a very interesting topic, and it could drive a lot of postings, quality postings. Yeah.
Hey, Greg, thanks for joining us.
Hey,
Greg from Rivet, or on Den is Mega Texas. I almost said Mega Taxes.
No, it's kind of the opposite of that. Yeah. Hopefully, at the very least, if it was locally responsive, one would hope that that people would elect not to have an overbearing authority. So but the AI stuff, though, you guys are totally dead on there. It's been crazy.
Yeah, that is the current thing. That is, it's getting interesting.
Hey, Greg, by the way, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
Are you going to be on next week on the World Blockchain Roundtable?
You bet.
March 2nd. Cool. Topic is, guess what?
What is it next week?
I'm talking about
the Umbrella Project.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah. Yep. I found that you published that in the politics layer, I think, and linked to the website. So thanks for that as well. Yeah. That's awesome.
I have a presentation, like a 10-page presentation. I'll probably publish that, and we'll do that. Just the quick, brief overview what it is, and then we can discuss it. I'm sorry to interrupt the meeting. I just wanted it while Greg was online.
Here. Oh, no, absolutely.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I get it. Whenever you cross paths with somebody, quick couple of nuggets to catch up so that you don't, because you never know when you're going to get a hold of somebody again. So I get it.
And it also really does demonstrate the power of Den, right? Like, we didn't know each other before this platform existed.
True.
So it's super. I think it's super relevant to the kinds of bits of magics that can get created,
right.
because of a well-crafted platform. It's exactly the sort of thing like Dave, you were saying earlier today about how you wanted to be a place that Aaron Schwartz would think was a really good place.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think that's and that was always at the core of his message, in my opinion. Sort of
he's somebody. I did say that today
and make stuff happen.
Yeah, I did say that today because he's somebody I wouldn't say I idolize the guy, but I do think about him whenever I feel like I'm, am I just crazy? And then I'll be like, no. Aaron would have agreed. Same shit, that kind of thing.
Got it. Everybody should have a pantheon of heroes, I think, of people that they try to honor in their actions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's one that ought to be in a lot of people's. Certainly one of mine. So I don't begrudge you that at all.
My my Reddit handle is in his documentary on the Internet's Own Boy.
Oh yeah,
my birthday cake is in there.
Dude, that's right.
Anyway,
told me that.
Yeah,
I watch the documentary all the time, but I've never actually stopped to look for it. I'll have to do that next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's over on Reddit. I'm called Gator Automator. Super cheesy.
Nice. Gator Automator.
So so I did have one Den thing that I wanted to bring up while I'm here. We're at the point where we can.
Yeah, let's get through who won real quick. Then we'll do that, and then we'll go to leaderboard. How's that?
Cool. Perfect. Sounds good.
Cool. So Marketplace won by unique voters, and then number 8 and number 21 by total lore committed was Aliens, and I think the other one was called Posted, right? Yeah, posted. And posted, I was looking at, it looks like, I think Joshua proposed that one, and it looks to me like it'll be a competitor to the random layer, because the description kind of says, if it doesn't fit anywhere else, it fits here. So if it doesn't fit in random...
I'm going to join that so I can propose that we change the spelling of it to POASTED.
Yeah,
That
do
would
it.
be awesome.
Yeah. So can we look and see where the current thing is while we're here? And aliens, of course, we have a UFOs layer. So aliens and UFOs, because maybe the UFO isn't an alien. Maybe it's, Atlantean or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
So now we've got both categories, getting really specific here. There it is. So number 3 by Lore Committed. Is that right? And then whatever place it is there. How many unique voters does it have? It has 16. 16 unique voters. Cool. So there it is. When that wins, I'm probably going to propose. You're not going to like this, but I'm probably going to propose that we change the name to just the current thing.
I know.
Just throwing that out there.
You know the one. I just wanted to be there at the top.
Oh yeah, top of the phone book, top of the yellow pages. Absolutely,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Got
Cool.
to exploit
Old
those.
school. Old school.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Drive
really important
traffic.
to come up with ways to exploit.
And then we'll change.
What's the filter script? Right, like you got to exploit.
I don't know.
The regex. Exploit the regex.
Yeah. We'll change. We'll change the conspiracy theory to AAA conspiracies. That sounds like a good company name.
And then random will be 0 random.
Yeah. So that's partially what I'm trying to avoid, because it would be funny, but
Right.
I don't know.
Everybody's got leading zeros. Then everybody has to go.
Yeah.
It's like that Dr. Seuss with the star people. Everybody ends up with the stars. Nobody's special.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So there we have our winners. There we have where the current thing is. Anything else on LCP? Get your if you want to make one that is a runner-up or has at least 8 voters, get that in over the weekend. These will be created next week, and it's a 1-for-1 lore to lot ratio. So however many votes you put in, that's how many lot you'll get when it's created. So cool. Now, before we go talk about leaderboard, what did you want to bring up?
Yeah, I just wanted to call back to mind a sidebar comment that was discussed briefly today on the roundtable, where we talked about how getting data over to Etherscan would be useful for like updating them on the actual number of holders for matter.
Yeah, I used that as an example because it just came to mind whenever Sean was talking about one of the use cases for oracles is just sharing information between different chains, different blockchains, different networks and stuff. And then I was just thinking, well, like that's, here's a good example. And the example, if you didn't watch, whoever is listening didn't watch the show, the example was that if you go to Etherscan and you look up the matter token, it'll tell you how many holders it has, but it only knows about how many holders it has on Ethereum. Mm-hmm. If you go look at some of the layers have like 6.9 thousand accounts subscribed, and I'm willing to bet I'll go look it up if I need to, but I'm willing to bet that the majority, if not all of them, have some amount of matter token, right? Like if they ever participated at all, if they ever voted on something, if they ever replied to something, even if they just voted once and put in some energy, even if they anything, they would get some dust of matter payout, basically, right? Mm-hmm. So technically, Etherscan is wrong. They just don't know that because they only know about the matter tokens that are held on external Ethereum wallet addresses. Right. So we could hypothetically have a DEN oracle that Etherscan could ask, hey, how many token holders are on your blockchain? Because DEN has its own blockchain as a Dragon chain. And
I think there's a way
node.
As the guys who deployed the token, since you guys actually push that out there, since you own the contract essentially, that you can go update the contract information on Etherscan and point it to an API that's for an Oracle about more information.
Okay, I might look into that.
They already have like some integration method built in, and I think that it would make a whole lot of sense for matter holders if their numbers were properly represented on Ethereum, since that's typically where people go to.
Yeah,
look
I
at
think
it.
that's a great point. I just
Yeah.
hadn't thought about it, because making sure that the name that the information is
Oh,
accurate
yeah.
is
Yep, well, that's,
is nice to have,
that is
right?
absolutely
Yeah.
why I brought it up. I mean, and for for folks who are wanting to see that matter be worth more, right? Like giving it accurate stats about the actual number of people who have it and may in fact interact with it is a really big deal. Like the number of holders for most tokens is very, very low.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, we could even potentially show some of that stuff in the leaderboard too, right?
right.
Like
Oh yeah.
metrics
Well, I mean,
like how many like one thing that it would probably be interesting is to show just a number of token transfers on Den, where people are tipping
Right.
each other or transferring between each other, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. And if you guys had some way to translate that over, then I know that people would capture it and report it, because like for instance, Coin Market Cap, right? Like they have a lot of data that aggregate about coins that comes straight from Etherscan. This would maybe raise the profile of Matter
Cool.
and give everybody a little bit of a boost, which would be helpful. So
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, months ago, I used to post, kind of to illustrate the scarcity of Matter. I used to post, the percent that was within the contract, the percent that say was on Uniswap, and it would show that there's a dramatic, price differential for the scarcity of Matter versus what's out available in the marketplace for someone to buy.
Speaking
that's
of,
true.
I do want to mention real quick, since you mentioned that, the every now and then I get questioned about the liquidity pool on Uniswap,
Mm-hmm.
and I also every now and then get a question about governance weight, like where does my governance weight in DENDAO come from, kind of thing, as far as like how much percentage of the vote your vote is worth, and those two things are connected. One of the ways you get more governance weight is actually to add LP on Uniswap. So if anybody was looking for an easy mode button to press to say, give me more voting power, it would be to add either Matter or Lore liquidity to the Uniswap v3 1% fee pools. And when you do that, use an address that you have claimed on Den. And when you do that, you'll just have more governance weight. That's one of the behaviors we incentivize on Den, is adding liquidity. And so if you do that, you get more of a say in DENDAO. So just wanted to throw that out there as something that I don't think that everybody knows that. So
Yeah, absolutely. That's good information.
Yeah, we watch that. We watch for like owners of layers, we watch lot emissions, which if we go ahead and flip over, can we flip over to leaderboard now? Are we?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Okay.
I said the only thing that I wanted to mention about it is to the extent it would also probably bring more attention to Den.Social, right? Like it would probably be good from just from a pure like get out the word standpoint, even if it doesn't necessarily make the number go up, but that's not the motivation.
And it gives something, especially if we stood up an Oracle to interface like that, and then it would give us something interesting to publish an article on too.
Well, I know a good Oracle provider that has some open source software that's really great. If you guys need to, or if you guys want to push the
maybe, yeah.
So like if anybody out there listening to this wants to, propose that we move forward with this on Den, like that's a thing that I think would make a great initiative, and maybe something that ought to be planned out, mapped out, and roadmapped.
I'd definitely be interested in how that conversation goes, because there's several ways to do it, I guess. And my assumption is that we would just make it Dragon Chain Oracle, like just do it from Den's.
Right.
I don't know, but maybe not. Maybe but if there's drop in,
could snag. Like I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I bet you there is a standard approach to oracleizing information from your chain.
Yeah, so that's a good point too.
like mass Oracle providers would also be able to access, which would
Could
probably
just be a drop-in
the
solution.
super easiest,
Yeah.
potentially a really super easy pipeline to get that
Tell it
data
where
out
the
there.
data
So,
points are and let it do its thing. Yep.
Yep.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Well, cool. Let's keep the heat on that so that we can see where it goes.
Cool. I'll share what information I discover about it and kind of keep trying to research it a bit for you.
Yeah, and I did look up those Supra Oracle people that you mentioned. I hadn't heard of them before, but I pulled up their website and was at least getting acquainted with them.
Yeah, they've got a really cool thing going, and I actually have a call with them. I mentioned that I plugged them on today's roundtable in our Telegram channel, and they were
cool.
like, "Hey, here's a Calendly, let's talk." So, like, if you guys ever want to talk to them about how to go about things like that, I know those guys would be amenable to like sharing how the open source stack works.
You're a wealth of resources. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I do what I can, sir.
So speaking of data, I've been playing around with different ways to pull data from Den, and for what will become the leaderboard, I started getting enough data that was interesting and useful that I went ahead and just published a post in the Den layer just to say, hey, like tried to format it to where it's pretty readable. But like, hey, here's some interesting data points. What do you think? What else should we add to it? That kind of conversation. And I actually made a bunch of matter off of this. I should do more of this. It was well received. It got like 100,000 energy. So I'm glad people found it interesting and useful. But I went with, I tried to show enough useful, interesting information, but also I'm not trying to, for example, like we're not going to just show exactly how much matter each person makes every day. Because that's getting pretty like, all right, like, I don't want to like cross the line of privacy violation or something like that. So I'm not going to do all that shit. But what we can do is we can say, how do you rank? How do you stack up? Who's earned the most crypto? Who's earned the most matter, and display that. So that's what I've got, top 20. And I did just one day yesterday, quote unquote, yesterday was yesterday according to whatever day this was posted. I didn't think ahead enough to be like, oh, this is not going to be saying what day it was. But the last week, the last month, the last quarter, the last year, and then how you stack up. So you can see which denizens are raking in the most rewards. And you can look and see one of the things that I think is interesting is like in the past, there's been a couple of accusations where like, oh, the team's probably just gaming the system and, making all the matter themselves. And so this is one way, just transparency, to be like, actually, no, we're pretty low on the list. Like, yeah, we're doing okay, some of us, but we're pretty low on the list overall. So that's interesting. And congrats to Coco Surf and Yon Crypto and everybody at the top, Captain, Unicorn. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rambo. These are names I've seen around quite a bit.
Dude, no kidding. You guys all oughta, if you're on this, which you may be if you're that engaged, coming over to the World Blockchain Roundtable there next Thursday. We'd love to see you in there.
Yeah, come hang out and do a Den Day maybe. I don't know. So, all right. Okay. So look at that. What else we got? We've got at the bottom is lot stuff, but what else did I put in here? Let's see. There's new posts. So this is where I started finding things that I'm probably going to not post in the final version, but I want to add some more too. Like post today, I'll probably just stick with post yesterday because every time I updated it, the number kept changing. And that's cool. And you can track that and stuff, but it's also way cheaper just to look at yesterday and not what's dynamic today.
Agreed. Question.
So,
what's your cutoff? Is there like is it zero?
It is whenever payouts go out.
Okay.
I forget what time of day, but in Eastern time, it tends to be, it's in the evening for me. So I'd have to look and see exactly when, but it's basically looking at the daily payouts based either on the date or maybe just the period.
Okay.
Because the way we have it set up is like, anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's around the evening-ish time is the cutoff.
Okay.
But that's pretty cool. So I also wanted to compare it to last year because I know that was something that you were doing whenever you were putting some metrics together. So I did that this month last year. Obviously it was a lot busier last year. It was a different environment. Everybody was a little bit more crypto positive at the time.
There was more hype on Matter.
Mm-hmm.
There was more hype on number go up for Matter.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What else? So there's new accounts. That's a requested metric to be able to track growth and stuff like that, or shrinkage or whatever, just to see what the signups. So this is just signups. Last month we had 62, and then so far at the time of publishing this one we had 26, and then
I think current month is probably a good matrix to plug into because then we can see how we're doing to last month. Are we on track to beating it last month, or are we going down?
And I can still do that by simply omitting today. Right. Everything up to yesterday, and it would still just be just as cheap to pull.
Yeah. So I look at it and I go, okay, we're at the 23rd of the month. This is really from the 22nd to the 1st, and how we track.
So really, it's just cutting it off at like whatever the last payout period was, and before that.
Smart.
Kind of thing.
Well done.
And then I was poking around on how to pull different stuff. So I came up with layer chat activity, which I thought, every layer has its own chat room. So sometimes it's like, okay, which chat room has people actually talking in it kind of thing? Because it's a very underutilized
I'll say.
Feature of Den is the chat rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's going to change.
Dragon Chain, Den, music, coffee, and random. So that's how that stacks up. And that makes sense. Dragon Chain actually is relatively active. Mm-hmm. And then Den is like for the whole Den platform. I didn't realize that music is mine. I got to pop in there and see what's up. I didn't know people were probably talking about me, not running it very well. DM sent. So people talking to each other outside of chat rooms, but also not in post.
Excuse me.
You can see sort of the activity between denizens, again, without needing to show like who it was or anything like that. You just know purely how many per month. I don't know if we want that or need that, but it's something that we can do. And then lot valuation. That's the one that's really cool.
Yes.
So lot valuation is something that we're able to do because of the way that Den and lot are designed. Everybody who holds lot tokens to a layer, the ownership tokens, gets a percentage of all matter mined inside of that layer. And because of that feature, we're able to then compare otherwise incomparable tokens and NFTs and stuff. Because we can say...
You could come up with a valuation per se per lot.
I guess what I should have said is it gives you a way to do an apples to apples like numbers comparison.
Well, I was thinking of somebody who wanted to sell some of their lot. They could do a valuation for the value. Yep. Real quick comment. So conspiracy and red pill, those are pretty high up above spirituality. We're not too pleased with, I guess, our jokes and memes and history, but
well, interestingly enough,
about photography.
can I let you in on why conspiracy theories is so high up on the list?
Anonymous postings.
100% of all matter earned in that layer goes to the layer owners. You cannot earn matter in that layer. That's one of the features that any layer can decide if they wanted to, right? Some communities, it breaks the way that they operate. In other communities, it might actually lead to more interesting content. So that's why conspiracy theories did it, because they're like, well, we don't want people to have to dox themselves to just talk about a topic kind of thing.
Yes.
And so a side effect of that is that since anonymous posting is not only enabled but enforced, Den doesn't know who to pay whenever something performs well. And so instead of giving just a fraction of the payout to the lot holders, 100% goes to them. So that's why those tokens are worth more, like objectively. And it's cool to see it reflected here in the metrics too. So,
well, instead of number go up, last few weeks it's been balloon go up. So just saying.
Yeah. Yep. That would have been would have been a perfect topic for the current thing.
Distraction go up.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's laid out in a couple of different categories. I'll just explain what they mean real quick. So matter per lot is literally during the month of January, that's how much matter you would have gotten per individual lot token that you hold.
Mm-hmm.
And then lot supply is how many total lot there are for that layer. And so you can see some layers only have like 1,000 or 100 or something like that, individual tokens. Some of them have millions. Like History has 3.2 million NFTs that make up the ownership pool of that layer, right? And so each individual one of those, as you can see, paid out exponentially less, even though it's still in the top half of what gets paid out. So you have to think about that whenever you're trying to consider, like, why are these numbers the way they are, that kind of thing. And then on the right is what the actual sorting was done on, the total matter to all owners. So that's 100% of how much matter was given and split up among all of those lot tokens.
Over what time frame again?
During January. Just January. Yeah. So almost 1,000 for the top two, and then 200 or 300, 250, 200, 200, 150, 150. So that gives you an idea. And then, you can really kind of start to visualize like, oh, okay, just here's why. One of the reasons I should probably get more involved as an owner, because if I develop or help build a more active community, the more energy that gets spent in my layer, the more matter I get as a lot holder. And those payouts are every single day. Cool. So yeah, if you wanted to, and then I guess the last note on that is if you have a certain number of lot, I'm not saying this should be the way that you price it to swap with somebody, but it's the way that I'm going to do it. I'm going to sell some of my lot to someone who's interested, who didn't get certain layers that I have. And then I've been participating so long that I have so many. I'm going to take just that number, the per lot matter number, multiply it by however many they want to buy, and say, that's how much matter I want for it. Give me this much matter, I'll give you that lot. So that's how I'm valuing mine. Now you could do it differently. If I had more months here, you could see like, what is it over the course of like a quarter or something like that. You could predict that, do your own. I'm not trying to speculate on stuff or give financial advice, but
right.
It's a useful way to evaluate it. Yep, for sure. So then you're basically saying, I'll sell it to you for this ROI, right? Or this return on token, this ROT. Lot rot. Should we use that term? Lot rot. Maybe we could call that the process of lot emissions in matter. Call it lot rot. That could be good. So yeah, there's that. What am I missing on here? That's like, is there something that stands out? Like, oh, you're obviously missing this metric that you didn't think of.
No. The only thing I could think is historical. Is the valuation of this particular layer going down or going up?
Okay, I see.
That the only kind of thing I'm thinking of, but I don't know if you want to do that.
No, that's not bad.
Or per last year, this time last year, something of that nature might be helpful. Like, hey, wow,
some basically
valuation of this layer is going up. We could go to the nth degree,
Yeah.
And I don't think we need to spend it.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
There's other things in the fire that we need to address first. Down the road, that could be helpful.
Yeah.
Well, these are pretty easy,
relatively,
to come up with.
Previous year.
What else be cool would be to tell people where the top accounts are posting. I think that would be a really neat thing.
What
you mean? The most active accounts?
Yeah,
where they're most active at?
Where they're most active, because that would be a really cool way.
So when we rank denizens by, for example, like top 20 earners of matter kind of thing.
Yeah. Where's the matter being earned?
We could then say, okay, among the top 20, then you could see maybe the top 3 that each of those people posted in.
Right. Yeah. And
then
it also help people find an idea of where like contributors could be as robust as they are and do as well.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Because then because that is a good question of like, oh, well, where are they earning that?
Yep, exactly.
And that does help discoverability too. Because if something's popping off, it's kind of like letting everybody know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like knowing where,
Great
like,
idea.
I mean, like imagine if Glenn Greenwald were on Den, like where he's posting, where he's interested, would be like a way to draw people to places where, relevant discussions about relevant topics are happening, which I think would be a neat way to guide people to content with the ranking system.
I see Glenn's anonymous postings all the time in the conspiracy layer.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh yeah, I mean he definitely feeds the posts that I may or may not be making in anonymous from time to time.
Yeah.
So, and P.S. for anybody who's watching and is interested in trying to dox me, I totally always leave a breadcrumb that will make it easy to find me in every.
And now it's even easier to find you because you've told people there's breadcrumbs. Good job.
No, that was my goal. I mean, I'm posting in the anonymous thing because I love it, not because I necessarily want to be anonymous. So
cool. Well, thanks for contributing. All right. So where
the
they
thing
posted,
I could think is down the road we're going to need to look at evaluators and how they're rewarded for their evaluations.
That's something. Yeah,
we know that's coming, but we need to think ahead of that's going to need to be plugged into the
yeah, that's actually really good.
Best evaluator.
Yes, you could rank. Yeah, I would say like most valuable evaluators or something like that, because theoretically you should be able to measure someone's relative value based on the matter rewards they get for their evaluation actions. See what I'm saying?
And we certainly want to encourage more evaluation.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So where are the top earners earning it? And then maybe in addition to top earners, we could look at categorizing that earning into sort of how we do DENDAO's voting weight already, I guess, because you could say like people who are earning it from this role versus that role. If you look at the roles of a denizen thing, you could categorize which roles. That's pretty good. There's a good idea because you could actually have the roles of a denizen and then put numbers on them potentially.
So this is how much they earned with content, and this is how much they earned evaluating content.
Yeah, you could do that
total.
Yeah, maybe we could do that to where it's like, this role overall, everybody who had content earned this much combined, kind of thing. I like that a lot because that's a good infographic thing too. And I do like the way the roles are laid out. I do think there's a role that isn't on the roles, which is the advertiser, basically, because when you share externally, you do get rewarded for that.
Yes.
Cool. Those are great. So there's 3.
Yeah.
What else is interesting? We can just reply into this later if you think of something later. So that it's down.
Yeah, when you mentioned reply, that was the only other item I could think of.
Word cloud of popular tags would be neat.
I was yes, but then again, each layer has different tags. But that's totally possible.
Meaning like it'd be neat if you could see like just like a PNG snapshot of a word cloud for that particular layer. I just think that would be a neat, like, just enriching point where you can like see what kind of tags they use.
That's not bad.
Get the flavor of the layer while you're scrolling the stats.
That's not bad at all.
An element of the stochastic and specific to the otherwise generalized.
I'm just seeing in my head a graphic where the big giant bubble is abusive.
All the abusive tags, I like so the food layer, for example, would have like, oh man, they've been talking about fish a lot this month,
right?
That kind of thing.
Right. It might like pique your interest, or like
It convinced me to go fishing again.
Right. If you're
Basically.
paying attention right now, for example, like some that Karsten's guy from Mexico just like called out crypto. Like he's with like the Bank of International Settlements, and he called out crypto. Like I would imagine that the crypto layer would be like BIS tags would be pretty popular right now uh, because that sort of like Humpty Dumpty's evil twin called out crypto and said fiat one. It's like pretty nuts. So
yeah, a word cloud of most commonly used words in the discussions and stuff.
That would be super neat.
With that,
we could
I
go
was
to
thinking,
the nth degree on that stuff.
Yeah,
I
was
love
thinking
it
would be as far as finding where activity is and where conversations are, looking at things like reply depth, or like average reply depth or something, or how many replies per post, so that you know.
That's where I was going.
Which layers am I most likely to get someone to reply to me and start a conversation versus the layers that are just posts with no conversation.
Example might be like, say, memes. Memes might have more activity, but less
but people might not discuss them. Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah, you might see, or you might see like a really clever meme be like I've been thinking lately about posting meme blanks that are new, just to shoot some things into that layer that that people can riff on. But like those sorts of things would be really great. So I like the metrics that guide people to the content ultimately, that help them find what they're interested in, but also help them find other people who are interested in what they're interested in. Just because when we get more layers, knowing whether or not you want to be in cryptocurrency or Ethereum or whatever, right? Like there's going to be a ton, and helping people find those things with the stats is going to be more and more important, I think, over time.
Yeah. And since we're in general feedback and questions at this point, I want to say we should, I'm always wanting to get obviously creators on Den. And one creator that I like a lot that I think he just hasn't worked it into his post flow yet, but I really want to get Satoshi Shon to start putting his crypto meme review videos and publishing them in the memes layer.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
I was watching it today actually after the World Blockchain Roundtable. There's some good ones in there, and he
has some zingers, man.
Yeah, and he shouted out Den as well on his show, which I thought was cool. And so I was like, man, he needs to post his crypto meme reviews in Den. Since they're already on YouTube, he could go in.
I just thought of a layer topic that I'm totally going to put in for the next round, just because of that. Like, who else would like to have like a Den shoutouts highlighted layer where like we post the best of what everybody else puts out on the internet about Den on Den?
Well, once we get a bunch of people talking about Den, that'll be easier.
Oh yeah, I mean, like it would be especially cool because like that would motivate. I think that would motivate people to go out and create on other platforms about it, because like what's better than getting rewarded for hyping it? So
yeah, submit your shout out.
Right.
Yeah.
Not financial advice, but that day's going to happen, and that day's coming. And scarcity of matter. Who knows what the price is going to be? But not financial advice, and I'm not your doctor. Just saying.
I am. I'm your doctor. I'm a cartoon monkey, and you should definitely see me as your physician.
So the last thing that I can think of for today is Hyperion Frequency was asking me some questions on the coffee show this week on Wednesday about what's the process of buying a layer if you just want to buy a non-LCP layer. So LCP is the way to do it for free. There's a contest involved. You got to win it, but then you get your layer topic. You don't get to control who is an owner of it, but it gets to be created for free. That's the way. Now, if you want to fully control who gets ownership of it, or if you want to just make a layer and not have to deal with going through the months-long process of winning an LCP contest, anybody at any time can directly purchase a layer from Den. And the cost of that, you can pay in matter. So if you happen to have a bunch of matter, you can actually just use whatever matter you've earned, or you can buy it with either 1 Ether or with a a 30% or a 1/3 discount, you can buy it with 0.66 ether worth of matter. And the reason I wanted to mention that again is to say that's the price, but also because of what I was talking about earlier with the liquidity, a lot of people are questioning how to determine how much matter that actually is. Because if you look at the price today, like let's say you're going to go to Uniswap and you're just going to swap some ether for matter to then you get the discount to get the 1/3 off and then use that. How do you determine how much matter you need? Because one might go and look at the current price and calculate how much matter that would be. But whenever you buy $1,000 worth of matter like that, which is I think what 0.66 ether basically is, it's going to move the valuation on Uniswap by like 20%. And so then your calculation that you did right before the swap is not matching anymore the calculation for based on the new price, that kind of thing. And so one of the questions was, how do you deal with that? Well, it's to simplify that whole thing, you literally just put in 0.66 ether, and however much matter you get is what the price is. Because we can always go back and look at the transaction on like Etherscan, for example, and determine, oh yeah, that is what you got for 0.66 ether. So that's your price. So don't worry about literally how many matter it is. Just think of it as whatever you get in that point of time, whatever the spot price is that you get actual tokens for 0.66 ether. And that's how you get your discount. That's how that works. So sorry, that's a little bit complicated, but
Nope.
This whole space is complicated right now.
You do a great job simplifying it for everyone to understand. So thanks.
Cool. Thank you. There's even a post.
My new dog understood
link.
everything you just said. Well,
Cool.
Our new rescue.
Maybe. Ooh. I just had a random thought.
Dude, next time you're on actually, you should bring the dog on camera. That's adorable. Well, hello there. What's he or she's name?
This is Miles.
Miles. Well, hey, Miles.
Husky.
Miles is a gorgeous dog.
Thank you. He's almost 2. So
Miles needs to make some money in the pets lair.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right.
Miles can hang out with Loki and Thor over there. It'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah. And Daedra, my Daedric beast.
That's a great name for a dog.
For a Rottweiler too. She's black with like not amber but tan markings, so it has that Daedric armor look to her.
Nice. Well, so all Daedra are genderless, so she's still a prince. But
yeah, she is a prince. That's true. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know what's up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So Marketplace Aliens posted. Those will be up next week. Leaderboard post is up. It's got a bunch of interesting data on it. And then we had some really good points brought up today that are useful. So thank you for that input and that feedback. We have this governance call every Thursday at 3 p.m. And unless there's anything else, I'll go through the reminders and we'll be done.
We're good.
Cool. So reminders, submit questions to the next World Blockchain Roundtable. That's going to be on IM for IM. It's going to be on your white paper. It's going to be on the Umbrella Promise white paper. And we can talk more about that. Very interesting concept. So that'll be cool.
Guys, not to be missed. That's that one. That's going to be a really important show.
Yeah. And all 3 of us will be on that, I imagine. So that'll be cool.
I hope Joe can join us. I'd like to get his input on Dragon Chain as far as their implementation.
Yeah. And also just his perspective on government as a history buff. Like every time I hear him talk about something historical and like, styles of governance and how it's worked in the past, I get reminded that he actually has studied a lot of history. So it's and specifically like pros and cons of different governance styles and things. So he is a very good brain to pick on that paper.
And he absolutely doesn't ever articulate openly that it's knowledge that he's bringing as opposed to opinion. But like, if you pay attention to what he's saying, man, like he'll bring the knowledge, which is really cool. So,
well, if he's available, I'm sure he'll be there.
And thanks again, Dave, for making that switch for me. That helps with my, with my wife's surgery. I won't be able to make the following week. So,
yep, that was originally scheduled for week 2, but it's week 1 now. That also works out perfectly for T Swift or Die's topic, which is the game show topic, because he couldn't make the first week, but he can make the second week. So that works out great. We're going to do
I hope he has a buzzer sound for us, because I love buzzer sounds.
Yeah, he's got, I don't know if it has a sound. I'll have to ask him. But he's going to do, and this passed in the World Blockchain DAO. So we're going to do that swap, and we're also going to replace the current events segment for that week with literally a game show for the World Blockchain hosts that he's already designed and gotten ready. So, and that'll be.
I'm going to win. So calling out anybody who else is going to be there.
And that'll be a demo tape for an actual show he wants to start regularly putting up on Den as well. So we'll have another show to put in the reminders section at that point.
Nice.
So World Blockchain's on Thursday at 11 Eastern. Super Happy Dragon Lucky is on Tuesdays at 11 Eastern. That is updates on Dragon Chain and Den with an AMA section. So ask questions about either of those topics, and that's hosted by Joe Rhodes. So he does that AMA, and then I do what is effectively an AMA / just coffee meetup for any denizens who want to join on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern, which is like 6 a.m. if you're on the West Coast. But that's in the Coffee with Den layer, and like this meeting, there's a link to join that one as well on every post. I have a feeling we'll probably talk about Nintendo 64 this coming week because it's the 64th episode coming up.
Oh, nice.
Perfect.
Beautiful. What a great game system, and what a weird controller, and still awesome.
We don't always talk about the topic during that show, by the way, but there always is a topic. So that's on Wednesdays. And so there's your shows, there's your reminders. So go to those layers. Definitely leave a question in the World Blockchain Roundtable layer. Leave a question in all of them. You get rewarded for it. You literally get rewarded for it. So go do that.
And if you stick around long enough, you can even propose topics that people can vote on. So like,
yes,
for instance, if you wanted us to like have a topic for an episode that was really controversial, but just call it the elephant in the room, and the look of the episode is nobody's allowed to talk about the topic, you can totally do that.
We did one of those. Or no, we did. No, what did we do?
Everything was opposite. So if it was
we did wrong answers only.
Wrong answers only. That's what it.
Yes.
That's what it was. That I honestly thought that was an awkward episode. It was hard.
It was awkward, but it was really funny. Like if you like Kaufman, you know.
Yeah. The what you were saying about directing the show with World Blockchain is absolutely true. And the today's switcheroo is a great example because when I was talking to John about the game show thing, we didn't have to ask permission to replace the current events segment with a game show. We just proposed it, and then people could just vote on it. And if it passes, that's what's happening, right? So that was a pretty good demonstration of just like stop. And Greg, maybe I'm channeling you a little bit on this, but stop asking for permission. Just do stuff.
Damn right. Exactly. It's like that episode of Family Guy where Peter got a hold of all the Nielsen boxes and then made the local news host cold start a chainsaw. It was fantastic.
So there's your reminders.
You guys can literally do that to us. Make us do absurd things, please. It'll be fun.
I'm gonna wrap us up. Definitely go and propose the changes that you want to see. We'll all vote on it and see how feasible it is. You can propose that we go to Mars. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but think about what's feasible and how you want to organize that. So,
it's like umbrella project, umbrella.
It's similar.
You're proposing a legislation. Ranking.
If you haven't read that, go do it so that you have questions to ask during the World Blockchain show too. Cool. Yeah. So hey, let's get out of here. All right.
Yes.
Hour's up. Let's wrap it up, and everybody have a good weekend. And I'll see you around Den. Greg, I need to see your screenshots from the Fractal update. I need to see your ships. Maybe we can take a tour of each other's aircraft hangars and see what we've got over the weekend.
We absolutely should.
There's also, I've never actually done any of the expeditions because I never cared. But if you want to live stream, if you want to do it in the gaming layer, I'll split the matter with you. We can host it and roll out and do an expedition and get that new speeder ship. if you want.
Oh yeah, that sounds
right.
like a lot of fun, actually.
All right, cool.
I'll deprive myself away from Harry Potter Legacy though for the weekend.
That's what Gravity Crab and T Swift or Die are both playing. So that's a popular topic too. Maybe y'all should all nerd out on that. Open a thread in the gaming layer, and rope them into it.
Yep. No, but I seriously I love No Man's Sky, so I'm totally going to be switching gears this weekend because.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will message you about that, and we'll see if we can link up.
Sounds good.
All right. That's it. Have a good one. Adios. Thanks again. Peace.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.